La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Dear viewers, welcome to another episode of the Journey to Islam Ahmadiyya. In this program, we will be discussing with those individuals who joined or accepted the message of the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam. They'll be sharing with us their interesting stories and then their inspirational stories, how they come across the message of the Ahmadiyya Muslim jamaat, and with many other narrations or interesting stories we will hear from them. With me here today in this program, discussing in this program, is Mr. Ebrahim Fofana, who is a convert, and of course he is a senior member of the jamaat as well in the Gambia here. Mr. Ebrahim Fofana, you are welcome to our program.
Thank you, Ustaz.
Yes, Mr. Fofana, we'll just get into our program. We would like to know your background, family background, or can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Ustaz. First of all, my name, as you know, is Ebrahim Fofana. I was born in a village called Bamarikunda. This is located in the Lower Badibu district in the North Bank region of the Gambia. There, I lived up to the age of 7. Then I was taken to another village called Salikenye village, where I acquired my primary school education. Shortly after doing that, I was also moved to Banjul in Tobacco Road, where I continued my schooling at the high school, St. Augustine High School in Tobacco Road. That's where I did my high school education. And in Bamarkunda village, I was living with my parents, my mother and father, and the rest of the family. But in Salikini, where I had my primary schooling, I was living with my paternal uncles and my grandparents. There I stayed for 6 years during my primary schooling. Then when I came to Banjul in Tobacco Road, that was where my elder sister was living, married to his husband, whose name was Alhaji Kebakale. The late Alhaji Kebakale, as you know, is a prominent member of the Jamaat. He was an uncle and an in-law to me. So I stayed with him to do the rest of my schooling. That's my high school career. That was interesting because that is a family which is well known in Badibu as well as in Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. So I stayed there for a while. When I completed my schooling there, I started to work. I started my employment very early, let me say, because immediately after completing my schooling, he was one of the people himself who facilitated my employment at Nusrat High School. So I started early, to work as an accounts clerk at Nusrat High School. But there I didn't stay long. I was there for just about 3 years. Then I also moved to another school in Basse, Nasir Ahmadiyya Muslim Senior Secondary School in Basse. There I stayed for a longer time because I was there for 10 years, nothing less than that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fofana. But how do you come across the message of Ahmadiyya, since you were not a born Ahmadi, you accepted Ahmadiyya?
So as actually the message of Ahmadiyya is something at the time, I think I do hear about Ahmadiyya during my childhood. That was the time when I was in Salikene. When I was back home in my home village, then I was very small. I never knew what Ahmadiyya was. But when I went to Salikene, even though I'm not familiar with what Ahmadiyya is all about, but I do hear about Ahmadiyya. People say negative things about them. Some will say they are Muslims, but I was not clear what Ahmadiyya is about. I used to have an uncle, in Salikene, who was not an Ahmadi, but he's a well-wisher of Ahmadiyyat. All the time I used to hear during my childhood, he will be saying, these Ahmadis, they are truthful, they are truthful. And the people of the compound used to tease him. They will say, you see, you, because his name is Mukhtar Kamara, and the people of the compound will used to tell him, Mukhtar, you, I think you should just confess that, I'm an Ahmadi. You are an Ahmadi, we know. He will say, no, I'm not an Ahmadi, but I know they are truthful. Definitely, I can say that. I know they are truthful. So he used to always, always say this in my presence, that Ahmadiyyat is truthful. So that was just a little knowledge I know about. So I became somehow motivated. I said, if something is truthful, I think it's worth some people to find out about it. But then still, I never had enough knowledge about Ahmadiyyat. I was there, and then I see people who are Ahmadis themselves. So that was it. I had much time in Salikene hearing about Ahmadiyyat, but not knowing much about Ahmadiyyat.
So, Mr. Fofana, that was indeed in your home village. You did not used to hear Ahmadiyyat, but when you went to Salikene, your second home village, that's where you heard about the Ahmadiyyat. Some are saying they are not Muslims, and others are saying they are Muslims, and which led you to investigate or to look into Ahmadiyyat. What is Ahmadiyyat all about? So, do you really read any books, or you were inspired by an individual?
Actually, this thing continued, hearing about Ahmadiyyat. In Salikene, during my stay, I had never been reading any book about Ahmadiyyat. Neither have I seen any family or people who are Ahmadis, actually. But where I came to know about Ahmadiyyat is when I moved to Banjul. When I finished my schooling in Salikene, I was sent to Banjul to live with my uncle, Alaji Keba Kale, an in-law and my guardian, for that matter. So when I stayed with him, he is a prominent Ahmadi, and my parents do know that. But for me, I didn't know that. When I came to his compound to live in his house under my elder sister there, his wife, then I came to know that these people are Ahmadis. So I found myself in the midst of Ahmadis, in other words. So the question of the message of Ahmadiyya is all over. I see them talking about Ahmadiyyat, and the other thing is that before having any good knowledge about Ahmadiyyat, I saw myself participating in Ahmadi events. So this is an interesting part, because I was somehow, at some point, I tried to be reluctant to go and pray in their mosque or join any of their events. But one day my guardian told me, why are you not coming to pray in our mosque for Friday prayers? Is it that somebody told you that we are not Muslims? I was shocked on hearing this. I said, no, but knowing that I'm not an Ahmadi, this is why I did not come to pray in your mosque. So he told me, anyway, I am not saying you become an Ahmadi, but try to come to our mosque so that you see for yourself what you are hearing from the people, how we pray, how we do our things, what we do. You will come to know about us. So I'm not saying you become an Ahmadi, but just come and attend our events and pray with us also, so you will see for yourself, if we are Muslims. I said, okay. At that point, I was reluctant anyway, but because he's my guardian, and I don't want to disobey him some point, so I just agreed. I was going to their mosque, praying there. I had the opportunity listening to their Friday prayers. And also, above all, is the opportunity that I have to access their libraries and read books on my own. I think this was a first education for me in terms of the message of Ahmadiyyat. So I came to read a lot about Ahmadiyyat, to a point whereby I even participate in some of their preaching activities. I don't preach, little knowledge do I have, but I used to be on the ground listening to the preachers They will put forth their arguments and I'll be observing keenly to a point where I definitely, in my heart, I can say, yes, I'm convinced that Ahmadiyyat is truth. But I did not join. I did not sign the bayat. I was mingled with them doing everything, but I did not sign the bayat. Because signing the bayat at that point in time, I considered critical because that means that is committing somebody, and then that I saw that as something critical area. So I did not hastily sign the bayat. Going and coming, until one day when we were assigned to go to Banjul, the Banjul Mission House, where the mission house is located, 88 Perseverance Street. On that day is the day when I actually happened to sign the bayat. And how did this happen? Because that was the date when I will not forget. It was on the 23rd of March, 1989, the centenary day of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat globally. So we were asked as the Kudam at that time, we were asked to go there as Kudam, even though I was not a yes, because so I was taken as a Kadim among them, the rest of the Kudam. We were asked to go there, sit at the mission on that day in the observance of the centenary jubilee, to raise the flag of the Jamaat up till 12 noon, guard it, and then disperse after 12 noon. So we went there, the others went, I was also among them. I could not say, no, I'm not going because I'm not an Ahmadi. And moreover, to some extent, I just did not sign the bayat, but I'm convinced in my heart that there is nothing wrong about Ahmadiyya. As far as Ahmadiyya is concerned, I see it to be the truthful religion. So I went with them. While we were there, we raised the flag, we cleaned the whole mission house, and we are waiting. So other boys started dodging. They felt that, they are tired now. They started dodging one after the other. So I also attempted to dodge. Then brother Kemo Elem Jan was the Sadar Kudam Ahmadiyya. He came and then told me, where are you going? I said, I want to go home. I'm tired. He said, but why? You people, you the Ahmadis, if you people want to live just like this, you are assigned to do this noble job and you want to live just like this, what about the others? What would others say? Upon this remark, I told him, no, me also, I'm not an Ahmadi. I have just come to assist here, but I'm not an Ahmadi. So he became amazed. I said, oh, what? You are not an Ahmadi? I said, yes, I am not. He says, I have not signed any of your bayat. I'm not an Ahmadi. He said, wow, but this is interesting. So he sat down. He said, but tell me, what is your problem? Because I thought all along you are an Ahmadi because you were seen, taking part in every activity. As far as our activities are concerned, you are fully involved. I used to see you everywhere. So how come you are not an Ahmadi? With all that, I said, I did not sign your bayat. I'm part of the family. That's why I joined all this, but I did not sign the bayat, so I'm not an Ahmadi. He said, but what is your problem? Is it that, tell me two things. Is it that you are not convinced that Ahmadiyyat is truthful? Or something else? You tell me. He said, are you convinced that Ahmadiyyat is truthful? I said, yes, as far as that's concerned, I have no problems. I know, I'm convinced that Ahmadiyyat is truth. He said, okay, then now, the next thing is why you did not sign the bayat after having been convinced that Ahmadiyyat is truthful. Why you did not sign the bayat? I say, hey, Mr. Jan, for the bayat, I will wait until when I go home. When I go back to my home village, I will tell my parents that I want to join Ahmadiyyat. It involves signing bayat. So I will tell them, if they give me the green light, then I will sign the bayat. He smiled and he said, aha. So it means you are waiting until when your parents give you permission and then you sign the bayat. I say, yes. He said, but now tell me one thing. You said you are convinced that Jamaat is truth. I said, yes. What if you should die today? Before you meet your parents, you should die today. And God happened to ask you, are you convinced of my truth, the message of my religion? Are you convinced of the truth of my religion? And you said yes. Then, if he says, what prevented you from joining the truthful Jamaat? Would you dare tell God in front of God to say that I was waiting for the permission of my parents? Who are your parents in front of God? That became so striking to me. Yes. I said, oh, immediately I become convinced. I said, I think there is nothing I can say beyond this. Of course, God is everything. There is nothing like parents in front of God. It's the supreme authority. So if I'm convinced, then I think I should just accept signing the bayat. So from that day, immediately I decided to call for the bayat so that I sign it. But Boro Kemocha told me, no, don't be in haste. Study this very well so that, when you go to your guardian, you don't tell him that you are forced this and that. I said, no, give me the bayat. I am convinced. I can sign now. I insisted. So he took me to the office and then brought out the bayat and explained everything to me that is, in the bayat. I agreed and then I signed it. After signing the bayat, I became relieved so much. But when I went home, I explained this to my guardian. He was surprised. He said, you said you signed the bayat. I said, yes. But who forced you? I hope you were not forced by somebody. I said, no. I signed it on my own will. Nobody forced me. He said, Alhamdulillah. So he prayed for me and then I continued my business. So the next trouble was when I go home, how to explain that to my parents.
We'll be coming to that. After signing the bayat in Banjul, during your stay in Banjul, attending many jamaat functions, being a khadim, but not a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, being a youth, but you are not a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, despite the fact that you have been involved in all the activities of the Jamaat, especially when it comes to the youth activities of the Jamaat, you were involved. And now that you were convinced, you made up your mind that this is time for me to sign the bayat and join the fold of Ahmadiyya. What next? The challenges back home. What were some of the challenges you had to face?
Actually, for me, it was different somehow. Things did not turn the other way around. I did not face some aggressive opposition from my family because I think one of the reasons maybe at the time, my parents, or let me say my village, the message of Ahmadiyya, hardly you hear it. They don't know much. They don't know about Ahmadiyya. All they knew, perhaps they were hearing equally like how I was hearing that Ahmadis are Muslims, and while some will object, no. But one thing they had at the back of their mind, that is that they knew that their in-law, that is my uncle, in whose house they sent me to acquire my education, that is the late Alhaji Keba Kale. They knew that that man is an Ahmadi already. And that's the house where they sent me to, for me to acquire my education. And being an Ahmadi, they have not known him for anything which is bad or awkward. They have known him to be a very prayerful Ahmadi, a very serious person in terms of his morals. In other words, they don't see any fault with the man as far as his morals and religion is concerned. Being a prominent Ahmadi, but a very good person whose good qualities are openly well known by many people. So because of that, they somehow did not see Ahmadiyya to be something which is bad, because this is something which is manifested in the man already. But the only objection that some are saying that Ahmadis are not Muslim, so that doubt is there, but they already had at the back of their mind that an Ahmadi cannot be somebody bad. Maybe there is some difference in the belief, but actually it cannot be somebody, a bad person, because the person whom we know as our in-law, who confessed to be an Ahmadi, is somebody whose morals are in this society very well known to be good. So because of that, actually I think that thing at the back of their mind, and coupled with the fact that my parents were people who are to some extent liberal, they did not bother me much about Ahmadiyya. I told them that I have signed the bayat, I have joined the fold of Ahmadi, but neither my mother nor my father, disturbed me about that issue. They only remarked, okay, they are also Muslims. If you have seen it and you have decided to join the fold of Ahmadiyya, okay, we are all worshiping the same God. That is up to you. So they left me at my choice, at my own will, to join the Jamaat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fofana. We are now talking as an Ahmadis. You joined or accepted the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat at a young age. Like you were youth when you joined the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. But then we understand that every people or a person need to grow spiritually as well. So we focus on the spiritual aspect. What changes those Ahmadiyya brought in your life?
Yes. One thing I will be grateful for after everything, that is joining the Jamaat has taught me, among others, has taught me sincerity. One has to be sincere, honest. It's difficult to be honest, but you do your utmost best as much as you can, as required by your faith. I first found myself to be an Ahmadi, and then in my early days, I was working with Ahmadi schools. So there, I know it's not a question of fighting with other people to try to establish your, how to call it, your conscience, your faith, things that don't, that don't match with your faith, start fighting with them. That does not obtain in the Ahmadi schools, because there I was working among very few staff, and some of whom are also Ahmadis already. But later, in the other part is when I started to join the civil service, that is the government employment. There I realized that there is a great challenge when it comes to personal integrity,
Sincerity and honesty.
Yes. I happen to work with one of the biggest local authority in the country. And then there you deal with public assets, public funds. So it's very difficult sometimes. Working with people, you want to establish the principles of honesty. People see you differently.
They will not
see you differently. Wherever you go, it is tough, it's difficult. What you don't want to be part of in terms of finances. Some people see it differently.
Like embezzlement of
yes. They want to do this, people want to do something, you don't want to agree with them. At the end of the day, they see you differently. So you don't know how the challenges come. They will not openly, fight you for not agreeing to do something. But the challenges will come differently. They will come to you differently to put difficulties on your way. When you read things, you look at situations, you know that obviously these difficulties are just coming because, I'm not complying to
what you
to be with these people this way or that way. Because some of those things, some of those stories, you can't just go maybe narrating this, some of those things. But, you can understand that the challenges are coming because you just don't want to be part of a system which is actually bringing things that are contrary to your faith. The way way you should manage some of the finances at times, you just don't find it easily. People opt for it to be done this way, and you will want it to be that way because it doesn't sound to you in terms of your faith. So that challenge is always there. When people talk about you, they'll say, "Hey, that man is a difficult man. He's different." So you seem to be sort of a little bit, isolated or in that type of
environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Fofana, you talk about that is all about sincerity, honesty, and be truthful. And some of the changes it have taught you a lot of things, and you started experiencing some of these ways or those things when you left the Jamaat schools and then you were now working with the government or the local government authorities in different areas? That's when you realize that I being an Ahmadi, alhamdulillah, we thank God. That's really a very interesting one. But then there exists a lot of allegation about the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Most importantly, you will see landed people telling other people that these Ahmadis don't believe in the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They are non-Muslims. What is your take on that?
Actually, this allegation is an allegation which is very interesting, actually. I think if I were to advise my fellow Muslims, in general, I will say, if you hear an allegation, it is your duty to try to get up yourself, to go to the person about whom the allegation is made, get facts from that side also, because most of the time the allegation is from one side. The other side is not pursued by the people for themselves to try to know how truthful is this allegation. It worth somebody's investigation to know clearly from both sides. The one that has alleged what he has said, as opposed to what the other one also about whom the allegation is made. What did that person say? And to establish the truth also, you go back to the references, go back to the religious scriptures, go back to the Quran and the Hadith to see for yourself what has been mentioned actually. About some people alleging that Ahmadiyya, most of them, they will recite this kalima, but it is not in their heart. I think that is very interesting. That tantamounts to someone putting his shoe in the
his feet in the other one's shoes.
Somebody putting himself in the rank of divinity, because it is only God Almighty who knows about the innermost secrets, who knows about the heart of men, what is in the hearts. So if someone is a true believer or not, I think God, for us Muslims, our scriptures taught us that one is not, for us to judge.
Yeah.
We are not to judge. We should not be misled by others. To believe that someone is not a Muslim just by looking at him. There are lots of examples that tell us that that is not actually wise.
There exists a lot of also people who have recognized, just quickly on that, who have recognized the truthfulness of Ahmadiyya, but are reluctant in accepting the message. What do you have for them?
I think in this world, as far as religion is concerned, I think God has made it clear. If you actually want to find out about God, you must have to pursue the Quran and the Sunnah. So definitely, I think it's about that. You cannot accept the truthfulness of Ahmadiyya. At the same time, you don't want to join because you are fearing the society. It's two things.
We are talking about God here.
Yes. So society, you have to turn back to the society and get God, and then God will get the society, come back to you for you accepting the truth. Or you will remain with the society, and then you will lose God. So it's about that actually. I think this is one of the toughest decisions for anyone to take at the first instance in joining the Jamaat. The first challenge is that you will be persecuted in different ways, either by your own family or by some other people. But that's about the society. You turn your back on that, accept that isolation, and then God will strengthen you, after passing through that in a different manner. But if you realize the truthfulness of the Jamaat and then you don't want to sign the bayat, that means you still are with the people. You've seen the truthfulness, but you don't want to be with God because you don't want to lose the people. I think if you lose the people and get God, you will end up getting people again, because God is the Almighty who establishes everything. So if he decides that you will be lonely, even if you want to be with the people and then you lose God, you will end up losing everything. So I think the question is it's about making that decision, tough decision.
Then finally, Mr. Fofana, we don't have time anymore. Finally, on the responsibilities assigned to you as a Jamaat member.
Yes, I think since from late 1990s, I have been working as the National Financial Secretary of the Jamaat, position which I have been holding actually for, I think, many years now. I think it goes almost for 2 decades, among others. There are other portfolios that I have handled within the Jamaat, ranging from Ahmadiyya when I was a Kadim, and then to Ansarullah. Currently, I serve as the secretary, that is the Qaid Umumi, the general secretary of the Ansarullah, Majlis Ansarullah, the Gambia. And I'm also still remain as the national financial secretary of the Jamaat. And also as secretary to the Nusa Jahan board, the Gambia, among others. There are other small responsibilities. Mainly, I have been serving as National Financial Secretary for many years. It also involved being signatory to most of the accounts of the Jamaat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebrahim Fofana, for your time. This is all we had time for, and I hope we have you in our subsequent programs, inshallah. And thank you for your time. May Allah the Almighty bless you abundantly. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, from us here, MT International, the Gambia Studios, I am your host, Dembaba. Today, we all heard from our guest, and we learned a lot from him. His faith-inspiring incidents, and of course, his service to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat as well. Until we come your way again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Rasulullah